Mike throws a gigantic fit as soon as he realizes his chick is definitely not going to sleep with him. At first, he is being absolutely repulsive and says, "Oh, you can me," instead of ging me. Like he's being rude on purpose at this point to piss her off. Hi, I'm Ray Arcade. Welcome to my channel. The last time we were at the Miami Jersey Shore house, the tensions between the girls began to rear its ugly head again, leading to a tenuous truce between them. Mike was beginning to act more and more erratic, ending with him yelling at Snooki and hitting her in the mouth. What will happen next? Take my hand as we find out on this Jersey Shore retrospective. Today we are covering Season 2, Episode 12, called Deja Vu All Over Again, and it premiered on October 14th, 2010. Before I get into it, real quick, I have a question for you guys. I have a handful of you that come back and leave some really fun comments. I was wondering if at the end of each of my videos, if I take a comment from a previous video or a couple of comments and respond to them, if that would be fun, if you guys would like to see me respond to some of your comments on video with the mic instead of me sitting there and typing out a paragraph long response that I want to type out. Let me know. I think that would be fun. Let me know. So let's get into it. We open back at the club after Mike hit Snooki in the mouth for not wanting to leave the club. And why should she want to leave? Her best friend Ryder is visiting. She's having fun. She's not in any danger. She shouldn't have to leave if she doesn't want to. And added on to all that, obviously Mike knows that the entire Jersey Shore crew is around. That's cameramen, producers, everybody is there. Mike knows that. So this isn't about him wanting to make sure Snooki gets home. It's about him wanting control and Snooki saying no, which pisses him off. Everyone does leave the club. Vinny takes Ramona back to the house and he is cringe-maxing, but she gives him the goods anyway. Bless her heart. I'm not one to try to tell somebody how they should live their life, but Ramona, you deserved better.
You need pajamas?
Yes, please.
Can I be your pajamas?
Yeah.
Wear me. Wear me.
Yeah.
I tried figuring out what Ramona is up to today, but she's not very public facing, so I didn't want to dig too deep. I'm just going to assume that sleeping with Vinny was a low part of her life and she has moved on. She's doing amazing now. Ramona, I hope you're doing amazing now. Mike seems like he's in a much better mood the next morning after the club and he apologizes to Snooki.
I want to apologize, Snooki. I was in a bad mood yesterday, and I didn't want you to be by yourself yesterday because you were drunk. You know,
Well,
there's more
I'm by myself.
You know
I was
what I mean?
with my best friend all night.
Oh, I know, baby.
And you told me to leave the club.
Was that my apologies?
That came
I had a bad night.
I am. I'm accepting your apology. It just came out of nowhere, and I was just like,
And
ew,
yeah,
Mike,
exactly.
like.
I had a bad day, baby. I'm sorry.
I rate this apology a 4 out of 10. He's pushy with making her accept his apology, and he keeps cutting her off every time she tries to say something. But she accepts, so case closed. Ryder is leaving, and her and Snooki have quite an emotional goodbye.
Ryder, she's my heart, she's my soul, she's like my other half, she's my sister, she's my best friend.
My little nugget!
I figure now is the time to talk about this because her and Snooki seem like genuinely good friends. Like, they seem really close. I've seen some people say that their friendship was more shallow because they were just party friends and not actually good friends. I don't know. Based off of what you've been seeing, do you think Ryder and Snooki's friendship was real? All that to be said, they are not friends anymore. I'll try to give you the too long didn't read of it all. So basically, when Snooki was pregnant with her first baby, she went on a girls' trip to Cabo with Jionni and Ryder. Jionni and Ryder weren't married, no kids, whatever. They went out, they partied, they had fun. Snooki could not have any fun, and this really pissed her off because they weren't giving her enough attention because she's pregnant, she can't drink, and they're out kind of ignoring her. Whatever. This causes a rift. Later, after Snooki has her first baby, Ryder, Jionni, and Snooki all go out and get absolutely annihilated, and Snooki makes out with both Jionni and Ryder. Snooki does tell Jionni, and he says that Snooki's a terrible mother and Ryder is disgusting. I don't like the phrasing that Jionni uses. I don't think Snooki's a terrible mother, and I don't think Ryder's disgusting. That being said, there is an idea with some people who think that if you're a woman and you have a boyfriend and you make out with another woman on a drunken fun night, like, woo, yeehaw, it's not cheating. But some people think that it is cheating. It's clear that Jionni thinks that that is cheating. And that's something that was established to be true in Italy with Snooki and Dina. So it's not like this comes out of nowhere that Jionni doesn't like it when Snooki gets drunk and makes out with other women. She should respect his boundaries, and she didn't. So Snooki ends her friendship with Ryder, and I believe they are not in communication at all today. I don't know, something about it makes sense to me. When you become a mom, people change. You grow apart from your party friends. I think Jionni was encouraging Snooki to not be friends with Ryder anymore. And obviously, if she had to choose between her friend and her husband and her kid, she's going to choose her husband and her kid. But another part of it doesn't quite sit right with me. I could see both sides. Do you think Snooki made the right decision? Anyway, now that we're done with that side quest, let's get back to the main storyline. Snooki is having a rough time after Ryder leaves and is missing home. Vinny tries to comfort Snooki, and Snooki says,
I'm sorry I'm being ridiculous, but I miss my hometown. I miss my family.
I know.
The only people that I trust in this house are you, Poi, and Jenny.
Good. We're here for you, too.
I love you.
I love you, too.
Jenny decides the best way to cheer Snooki up is for everybody to go out to a club called Space, which apparently is like a New York club, whatever that means. Mike and Polly have a girls' day where they get their hair done and their eyebrows waxed. We also see that Mike has a blatant disregard for parking laws, so keep that in mind for later. They go out to Space, and Snooki's already not having a good time, and she starts fighting with some people. Mike jumps in and starts threatening the guy that's with the two girls Snooki is fighting with. To be honest, the guy that Mike is yelling at just looks scared and confused. I'm not sure he was a part of the actual fighting. Jenny keeps saying she thinks Mike's going to ruin the night. Things start escalating. Mike starts fighting with two other guys, and they get bounced out of the club.
This is terrible.
In the confessionals, the cast is all complaining about how pissed they are that Mike got them kicked out of the club. And Ronnie says, quote, "It's 3:15, I just got here." And I am appalled. That has to be like youth, alcohol, and allegedly, possibly, maybe cocaine speaking. Because to me, 3:15 a.m. is like 8 hours into a deep sleep, and I'll try to wake up at 8 a.m. and my back will still hurt. Getting to a club at 3:15 a.m. to start partying, what planet is that? It's in space, of course. Space. The club's called Space. Paulie is able to grab two women from the club who he labels as DTF, down to have sexual intercourse. However, Paulie's judgment appears to be wrong.
Don't let the outfit confuse you.
I know.
She doesn't drink, and she doesn't hook up with people.
Wait, you hooked up with one person your whole life?
I've only slept with like one person like I was in a serious relationship with.
Listen, we don't have to bang. You can just me.
Mike throws a gigantic fit as soon as he realizes his chick is definitely not going to sleep with him. At first, he is being absolutely repulsive and says, "Oh, you can me," instead of being me. Like he's being rude on purpose at this point to piss her off. Then he tells her she can go lay down on the couch and snuggle with herself. And he just starts being awful to her.
And like I'm not gonna waste my time right now, so I'm gonna bring you another room, and you can like snuggle inside with the pillow, because I'm going to sleep. Joking.
Paulie says that, yeah, sure, it's annoying if you're not getting any, but there's no reason to be rude to these girls, and he does not like the way that Mike is talking to them. It's like obvious that Paulie wants Mike to take the girl who doesn't see him down out of the room so that Paulie can get with her friend who is more down. But Mike is basically like, if I'm not getting any, nobody is getting any. Not a bro. Not a bro. Mike says the infamous,
Don't come over to somebody's house at 5 a.m. and expect just to watch and play checkers.
I never said anything about checkers, old man.
We have to go back.
You going home?
the girls leave. Paulie is pissed, but he's trying to play it cool, but you can tell he is pissed. I have a cat.
Do you have something to say?
Very cool. Anyway, so I will say at this point, Jersey Shore is a super popular show. A lot of people have seen it. I assume that most of the girls that come over to the house kind of know what they're in for. And it seems like the boys expect that these women should know that there is an expectation of sex because of the implication. And like, sure, I can see it being frustrating to bring a woman back to your house at 5 a.m. expecting to get laid and having it not work out. Particularly because, you know, these are not complicated men and they only think with one head.
Their penis.
But the other side, and the most important side, is that, like, nobody owes you sex. You're not owed sex. Sometimes you get into a situation where you think you can handle a night of casual sex, and before you commit to doing it, you change your mind and you get cold feet and you think, this is not for me, and that's fine. This woman was clearly uncomfortable and she changed her mind. You know, maybe she went into the situation thinking she would sleep with Mike. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just thought, hey, maybe I'll be on Jersey Shore. Who cares? Who knows? The point is, she did not want to have sex with him and she didn't, and that is allowed. The next day, Mike spins a tale to Jenny about how he was the one who rejected the girl.
I told Paul, I'm like, listen, dude, I've tried to be the wingman for you, but there's only so much I could do. You know what I mean? I'm sitting in the bed with this grenade, and then I tell her I can't do it, and she has to leave, and then she you know.
So Paulie didn't get in either?
No. His girl was like, I'm leaving.
Did you give him the boot?
Yeah, I gave him the boot. I'm like, get the out the house.
Hilarious. And she wasn't ugly. Even if she was ugly, it wouldn't matter because Mike will put his penis in anything that is slow enough. This is just him doing damage control for the sake of his own ego to make him feel better about himself. The boys go on a double date with their hired girlfriends. Boring. Mike is making dinner and he burns something in a pan, so he puts the pan under cold water, which causes a bunch of steam and stuff to come up, and the firemen have to come. Just some sage advice. Okay, if you burn something in a pan, don't put it under cold water immediately. It will warp your pan. Take it off the heat, put it on a cold burner, let it chill for a little bit. Also, if you start a grease fire, cover it with the lid or cookie sheet. Take it off the heat, lid, cookie sheet. Do not put water on a grease fire unless you would like to say adieu to your face. The more you know. We do a little fire safety. After family dinner, Vinny is talking about how him and Paulie like exotic women. Vomit. What does that mean? They like exotic women. Oh, I don't like that. Something about the phrasing of that feels like fetishizing. Like, I don't know. Is that weird? Like, it's okay to have a type, but to be like, I like exotic women makes it sound like, you know, he's a passport bro or something. Then Sammi says,
I'm exotic looking, right?
You look Asian. I like it.
Considering your ex-girlfriend is like Asian, you just don't say something like that to me.
girl, we all see you. We see your need for validation, Samantha, okay? You heard the boys talking about hot chicks and you wanted them to validate you too because you look white. You do not look exotic. Ronnie is a tool, but Sammi opened herself up to that response. I guess Ronnie didn't label her the right type of exotic. So while I was going to red flag Ronnie, I think I'm going to let this one go. But you're skating on thin ice, buddy. Sam is like straight up delusional in this situation. Sam is basically like, I have been told I look Asian. Ron said that I look Asian, but his ex-girlfriend is Asian, so this is not okay. She's so funny. Like, she's ridiculous. Then she starts fighting with Ron after setting him up for failure. And then Sammi jumps to her classic thing she always does, which is, why are you even with me?
Why are you with me? Let me ask you a question, because if you're gonna sit there and you know, like really be negative towards me.
Who has helped you through your in the house? Who?
But I am gonna red flag Ronnie here because he says he helped Sam through all of her shit in the house, but he is the shit in the house that she has gone through. That's like me running over somebody with my car and just absolutely destroying their body, taking them to the ER and then nursing them back to health and being like, wow, aren't I such a good person? But Sam goes to bed angrily. The next day, the boys go do some errands. Mike parks illegally, and shockingly, the car gets towed. That night at the club, Mike meets two blonde chicks from Canada, and they take them back to the house. But it appears these two women also do not want to sleep with Mike and Polly. So Mike is pissed, and you can tell Polly is starting to get pissed at Mike. Mike is rambling, and you can tell Polly is just completely checked out and not listening. So do you think the girls that come over to the house have an obligation to sleep with the boys? Or do you think they at least should know what they're getting into? Or do you feel like they have every right to say, hey, fuck off? Let me know. But that's where the episode ends. We're left with so many questions. Will Mike keep striking out and getting more upset? Will Jenny and Sammi ever truly become friends? And will Ronnie and Sammi break up again and then get back together and then maybe break up again? Who knows? We'll find out next time. Until then, I'm Ray Arcade. Stay crazy, stay wild.